Hey, what's up guys? John here. The great real estate crash is not going to be over mortgage rates. It's not going to be over bank collapses. It's not going to be over the stock crash. It's not going to be over any of that. What's actually happening behind the scenes right now is what's really shocking. It's these new mandatory property upgrades for the environment. And these are going to be very expensive, and you're going to need financing for these. And this is where you're going to start to see large corporations and private equity funds step forward to issue these helpful loans. And they're going to start putting liens on your property. You think I'm joking, right? You might think I'm kidding. I'm going to show you some stuff in this video, and I'll leave all the facts in the show notes. Because, I mean, this is off the whitehouse.gov. This is, I mean, on their website. Like, this is what's actually happening that 99.9% of the general public completely asleep about. And they're just investing in real estate. They're investing in this, investing in that, thinking that, you know, they're going to buy the dip. But you look at Starwood Capital. They're trying to sell 2,000 houses right now, one of the largest landlords in America. Look at KKR, private equity firm. They're halting withdrawals and redemption requests on their real estate fund. Look at Blackstone, 7th month straight, not letting people get their money out. You know why? Because they know that what's going to ultimately happen is we're going to likely step into this huge issue. They want to sit on as much cash as possible to buy up America. That's what's going to happen. Now, I'm not being dramatic, but look at this and you tell me. Whitehouse.gov. Whitehouse.gov. This is the plan over the next, call it 27 years, right? This is what's happening. Chapter 2. You go down to buildings. Buildings and their energy consuming systems, electricity used and fossil fuels burned on site for heating, air heating, water, and cooking have long lifetimes. Also, before I finish, today's video is sponsored by GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you want to position yourself for the greatest wealth transfer of all time, if you have bad credit, the odds of getting ahead are going to be almost zero. So if you want to invest, you want to really take advantage of what's going to be the greatest wealth transfer, whether you like it or don't like what's happening in the world. I mean, big companies and corporations, that's what they're going to be doing. And if you want to position yourself for success, you're going to need good credit. We'd love to help you at GreatCreditFast.com. Go there, schedule a free call. So, therefore, the priority in this decade is to rapidly improve energy efficiency and increase the sales share of clean, efficient electric appliances, including heat pumps, space conditioning, heat pump water heaters, electric and induction stoves, electric clothes dryers, while all improving the affordability of energy and equitable access to efficient appliances, efficient retrofits, and clean distributed energy resources in buildings. Now, people might say, all right, what does that actually mean? Like that could be, that couldn't be required, right? In a way. White House wants to modernize building codes. Okay, maybe there's more to this. Let's take a look at this. Ithaca, New York becomes the first U.S. city to become 100% decarbonized, right? Local governments are best positioned to lead on these buildings. Okay, and you start looking at this and you're like, well, how are they going to get funding? What is this actually going to look like? Well, they need about $2 trillion a year. That's what they need, about $2 trillion a year. And where are they going to get this money? They're going to get this money from private investors. Private investors, $2 trillion per year, tapping into private investment for public climate projects. But who's going to invest? That's a lot of money, right? You got to wonder, who's going to put up $2 trillion a year? Well, yesterday, the White House convened 24 governors' offices to discuss how the Biden-Harris administration can amplify state efforts to lead on commercial and residential building decarbonization policies that lower utility bills, improve climate resilience, and reduce emissions. This was May 5th. So you're like, okay, So they want to do these upgrades. They're talking about these further building changes, the local building changes. They're meeting with local governors. They've been talking about this for a very, very long time. We're seeing what's going on right now with the economy. And they're not going to let a crisis go to waste. This is what's going to ultimately happen. Microsoft and Bezos backing this startup that aims to retrofit millions of old buildings with green energy. Also, if you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate somebody else that probably thinks that this is not going to happen. This is going to happen. Now, by 2030, the institutions, some 7.6 million homes, more than 40% of single-family rentals on the market. So private equity basically is going to own 40% of the market. So you're like, okay, private equity, that's where they're going to start getting funding. You have Bezos, you have some of these the wealthy people that are going to be investing in these projects, right? And they're going to be putting a lien on your property. And they're going to be investing in these projects. And as that's happening, we're seeing record high inflation, and we're starting to see tech take a much bigger role in our everyday lives. And so what is that going to likely mean? Disruption. right? We're going to start to see more layoffs, more people defaulting on these loans. And when they default on a lien, that could be a position in which they're able to go in there and pounce and take over that property, right? And do these upgrades and have a situation where it's going to be more equitable. It's going to be better for the world, right? As they would say. But I mean, how do you combat inequality when you have 40% of a U.S. housing stock owned by large corporations and these private equity firms, right? I thought combating inequality would be to make the world better for everyone. Seems like it's just going to be better for them. Now, Starwood Capital explores the sale of more than 2,000 rental homes. 2,000 homes. Now, they bought most of these properties in 2021, late 2021 from Preti and Partners. Preti and Partners, the CEO, Don Lennon, he is Don Mellon, I believe his name is. He used to work at Goldman, and he bought a large block of those Zillow, those iBuyer properties that they were trying to offload last year. I think it was like 8,000 or 7,000 to 8,000 homes. They bought a large block of them, like almost 3,000 houses from them. Well, Preti and Partners sold that, a large block of properties to Starwood. Now, Starwood's looking at what's happening right now. They limited redemption request, so they're not letting investors get the money out on that one real estate fund. And so they're trying to sell. They're saying it's not for a distressed situation. But look, 2021 interest rates are what? 3.5%, 4% maybe, low threes. It was in that range. Now you're looking in the sevens, right? They're saying it's not distress. They want to sit on a lot of capital. They want to sit on a lot of cash, I can almost guarantee you, because they're going to get more redemption requests. There's going to be more defaults on renters, and they're going to want cash to be able to go out there and likely invest in real estate because there's going to be distress. Now, many people might say, John, come on. Like, the odds of this happening, very slim. Look at what's happening with insurance. You have Allstate, you have some of these insurance companies pulling out of California, you have tons of insurance companies leaving Florida. What is going to happen? Insurance rates are going to continue to rise. And if you have borrowing costs rising and people can't refinance to do these upgrades because the cost of borrowing money is too expensive and insurance continues to rise, it's going to provide a big opportunity for these private equity funds that are going to go out there and save the world, right? As they'd say. So KKR blocks rate withdrawals, as I've mentioned. Blackstone limits withdrawals for the 7th straight month. You look at these mortgage rates, though. For the average credit score in America, a 698, it's 8.113%, right? 8.113, even perfect credit, you're still in the sevens. But you look at that, you say, okay, well, not like 2008. U.S. foreclosure filings jumped 7% last month. But this is without people being even aware of what's going to be happening with these property upgrades. Imagine you start to have these upgrades. They cost $50K, $100K, $20K. Most people, they don't have $500 to their name, right? Most people don't have any equity in their homes. How are they going to come up with these large investments in their property, right? I'm not saying this to scare anybody, but on this channel, I remove emotion entirely from what I like, what I don't like, to see things for what's actually going to happen so we can make smart decisions. This is what's going to happen. We are going to see this without doubt. I mean, look at Local Law 97. Look into this in New York right now. January 1 of 2024, $200 million in fines are going to be distributed to landlords that don't do these property upgrades across 5,500 buildings. 5,500 buildings. By 2030, that number is going to be 15,000 buildings, across 15,000 buildings, because every year the standard increases for hitting these emission goals. It's $900 million in fines if they don't do these upgrades. And these upgrades, again, are not cheap. So it's fascinating. Yeah, Blackstone raised the largest real estate fund in the history of the world about 2 months ago, $30.4 billion, for a reason, right? They're going to be lending money. They're going to be investing. They're going to put their money in, in distressed assets. And it looks to me like these distressed assets are going to be right around the corner here. But I mean, so many people, I believe, think that this isn't going to happen. But when you have it on the website, when they're meeting, when they have everything right here. It's right there. Achieving 100% clean energy generation by 2035 will also eliminate upstream emissions from electricity, facilitate carbon-free and efficient electrification and appliances, equipment, and buildings. Moreover, partnership with the Environmental Protection Agency and the advancement of building energy codes and appliance standards will ensure that building envelopes, electric appliances, and other equipment become increasingly efficient over time, efficient Electric, space heating and cooling and water heating, offering important opportunities to employ grid interactive demand to lower energy bills for households and businesses while more cost effectively utilizing carbon-free electricity. So it's going to happen. Prove me wrong. Drop it in the comments below. Prove me wrong. But I'm telling you, it was, and I talked about this on this channel, the greatest rug pull. This is the greatest rug pull. When you think about it, 40% of all mortgages, and I keep saying this because it's just such a big number, 40% of all mortgages in America were taken out in a 2-year window during that 2020 to 2022 period at record high home prices and record low interest rates. So right now, people have basically no equity. And so the world just continues to get heavier and heavier and heavier. These people aren't going to be able to get funding. And this allows these private equity firms and these large companies to come out there and be like, hey, I can help you. I can help you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just make this little payment every single month, right? This is what's going to happen. Drop below, though. I'm curious as to what you think. I think a lot of people get wealthy. And I think that, if you're in real estate, if you're an investor, there's going to be some industries that are going to benefit, whether you like it or not. Solar is going to be a huge industry that's going to benefit. Being a lender on these properties, you're going to see people jump into all these different things that are going to basically capitalize, because that's ultimately what people do. That's what businesses do. That's what the economy does. I mean, right now, it's crazy. 10% of all global capital is allocated into clean energy. 10%. And that number is going to be going up. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be, jumping on that bandwagon. But what do you think about it? Drop below. Let's have a conversation about it. Add me on IG. For content I'm definitely not going to post here. And if you want help fixing your credit, we would love to help you. We'd love to help fix your credit, have a conversation with you to see if and what we could possibly do for your specific situation at greatcreditfast.com. That's greatcreditfast.com. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.